की, शिव 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 शंकर की, महेश्वर की, गंगाधर की, ओंकार की, गोपेश्वरा की, गोपेश्वरा की। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय। श्री शिवरात्रि महारात्रि की जय।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. So tonight we are celebrating the SHIVA RATRI ceremony in honor of Lord Shiva, who is known within the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Vaishnava Sampradaya as Vaishnavanam Yathashambhu, the greatest Vaishnava, the greatest devotee of Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So the devotees here, the Kirtaniyas and friends, have performed some very nice Kirtan here tonight. Did you like that Kirtan? And we're going to have an exquisite bathing ceremony. Sakiras Prabhu brought his gorgeous Shiva Linga here today to be worshipped. And Govinda Prabhu and Kailash Prabhu are going to be doing a beautiful bathing ceremony, and everyone is going to get a chance to participate and bathe the beautiful Gopeshwar Mahadev. And as a special feature for tonight's program, we have brought Prem Prayojan Prabhu to come here today. He is very well versed in all of the Tattva Siddhanta from Shilaguru days. He's going to explain in some detail about the major points, because if he went into all the details, we'd be here for 2 days. But he's going to explain in some detail some of the major points to understand what is the actual nature of Shiva, Shambhu. What is his relationship with Krishna? What is the particular position of him as Gopeshwar Mahadev, and how he can be understood best in that particular position. So in this way, Prem Prayojan Prabhu will give us some very excellent explanation by which we can all come closer to the understanding of who Lord Shiva is, who Lord Krishna is, and how we can all come closer to them in the devotion of the Vaishnava path. So I want to introduce to you now Prem Prayojan Prabhu. Please give him a little hand.
Bhagavad Maharaj ki jai. Om Jnanatimaramhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Yam Praprajantam Anupetam Apetam Krityam Dvaipayano Birhakatarya Juhava Putraiti Tanmatayo Taravo Binedus Tan Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi Tavevasmi Najivami Tayavina Jivikyaya Devitam namam charnantikam. First of all, I offer my heart like flowers thousands and thousands of times at the lotus feet of my holy master, my spiritual guru, teacher, Om Vishnu Pada Shtotra Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. Secondly, I bow down and remember the service of my grandfather guru, my teacher's teacher, and his teacher, and my great-great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather guru, because the transcendental knowledge comes down in a tradition in this way, and it's so essential before we discuss any spiritual knowledge that we show our honor and respect to those very great personalities by whose diligent endeavors and causeless compassion the spiritual knowledge has descended live from a very ancient time to this very moment today. So I'm offering my respect to them, and thirdly, I bow down and offer my respect to all of you. So we've assembled this evening for this very auspicious, astonishing, life-transforming occasion of Shivaratri. So what we want to discuss briefly is who is Mahadev, Lord Shiva? What is the mystery of Lord Shiva? And in what way is that relevant to our life, moment by moment? And what specifically, not just every day, but what is the specific significance of this evening, Shivaratri? So very often when people who are somewhat uninformed or from a different culture approach the rituals, the knowledge of the Vedas and of India, they often consider that, oh, these are very colorful symbols. These are so many different colorful symbols that represent something in this world. Actually, this is quite an inverted idea. Actually, all the things of this world, they are the colorful symbols that represent a reality which is beyond, in that transcendental existence beyond time. So, what is the meaning of Shiva? Shiva is a Sanskrit word. It means auspicious. That which brings about an eternal spiritual benefit. We've just been singing Shambhu, the name of Shambhu. What does Shambhu mean? Bhu dhatu, this verbal root in Sanskrit, means existence. And Sham means together. Who, uniting with his Shakti, that is Durga or Parvati, brings about all aspects of this physical existence. His name is Shambhu. In the vocative case in Sanskrit, it becomes Shambho. So when we call him, we say Shambho. So, Lord Shiva is famous throughout India, indeed today throughout the world. And he has many forms. We see the form of Mahadev sitting here in meditation with his trident, his matted locks, like a yogi. We see another form of Shiva here, that is the lingam. And we'll all be participating in a very auspicious ritualistic bathing ceremony of the lingam this evening. Lord Shiva has many forms, and in the Puranas it is mentioned there, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Just as the Ganges is the most sacred of all rivers, just as the Bhagavad Purana is the most sacred among all the Puranas. And similarly, Lord Shiva is the greatest amongst all the Vaishnavas. In other words, Shiva is the greatest Bhakta. He's constantly absorbed in bhakti. He's the embodiment of devotion. And that's really why we're honoring him today. Because when we honor a person, then the qualities that they have, when we honor them, it builds a bridge between their heart and our heart, and all their qualities come marching over. So if we want to increase our devotion, if we want our bhakti to grow, then we honor those who really have bhakti. So Mahadev, Shiva, Shambhu, he's the embodiment of pure devotion. And he has many forms. When Lord Ramachandra, Sita and Ram come into this world, then Mahadev is eager to serve them. And he appears as who? Hanuman. Hanuman is one manifestation of Lord Shiva in order to serve Sita Ram. When Sri Krishna comes in this world and enjoys pastimes with his associates like Arjun and the Pandavas, then Lord Shiva appears in the Leela of Krishna also as who? Bhimsen, yes. Bhima, Arjun's elder brother, is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. Even when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to this world to dance and spread Sankirtan, ecstatic Kirtan all over the world, then Shiva also appears with him as Advaita Acharya. So in this way, you know, sometimes we may do some bhakti, sometimes we may not do bhakti. But Lord Shiva, he's always engaged in bhakti, and for him one body is not enough. By his mystic powers, because he's yogi, mahayogi, he's a great yogi, by his mystic powers, he assumes many, many forms to express his love and render service again and again and again in so many forms, in so many millions of universes, in so many various leelas of Bhagavan, eternally. So, the worship of Lord Shiva is something that may be difficult, but something quite foreign for those who come from perhaps another culture or Judeo-Christian background. Would be quite strange, perhaps in the church, to make an announcement, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to pour milk on a stone penis. So, be perhaps somewhat shocking. So what we want to do is just overcome these obstacles and the foreignness of the whole thing and try to enter into the mystery of Lord Shiva and Shivaratri and the real meaning, the significance, the benefit also to us of the Abhishek, the bathing ceremony of the Shiv Ling. So, before we go there, I'd like to say something. We can know something about Shiva from his appearance. Have you seen him? I mean, he's wrapped up in deadly snakes. He has snakes everywhere for his ornaments. He wears garlands, not made out of pretty flowers, fragrant flowers. He wears garlands made of bones and datura, which is a deadly poisonous weed. And his body is smeared with ashes from the cremation ground, ashes of dead people. And he always keeps a mala in his hand, and he has his trident with a damru drum there. So all of these things, the entire appearance of Lord Shiva is didactic. It's really meant to educate us. Why? Because people of this world, conditioned souls like myself, we have material desires, we have ambitions, which are focused on the temporary material plane. So many people in India, they worship Lord Shiva and they say, Mahadev, please give me whatever. Usually on this night, the ladies worship Lord Shiva to get a very qualified husband. Yeah. And okay. So many people worship to get a very qualified husband. Or those who are already married, they worship Lord Shiva too for the health and happiness and prosperity of the husband that they already have. And whatever, people have so many different desires that they pray to Lord Shiva to fulfill those material desires. But Lord Shiva gives us a clue, he gives us a lesson. He takes the ash from the cremation grounds and smears them all over his body and said, you know that husband you want? He's going to be like this one day. This ash smeared all over my body. Not only him, but you too. And everyone you know. Because this is the temporary physical plane. And your consciousness is absorbed in these things. But I myself, from whom you're asking these benedictions, have no interest in this because I am experiencing a much superior happiness. Lord Shiva is always dancing, doing kirtan. He has a mala on which he's chanting the divine names, especially Ram, 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 all the time. He carries also the Ganga. Whenever you see a painting of Shiva, there's always the Ganges coming down on his head and rebounding here. Because once, one king, Bhagirat, he prayed to Brahma that the Ganges, the holy Ganges, would come from higher planets and bless this earth, to grace this earth. Brahma said, I will allow this to happen, but the force of the Ganga will make destruction. So pray to Lord Shiva. And so Lord Shiva, he volunteered, I'll take the Ganga first on my dreadlocks, on my jata, and it will break the fall of Ganges before she comes to earth. So the particular significance of this is, you know, that in India the Ganga is considered to be the water that has bathed the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And therefore, see, Mahadev, he's constantly expressing his devotion by taking the foot-bathing water of Supreme Lord Vishnu upon his head as a sign of his bhakti. Lord Shiva has many followers who meditate upon him. But the question comes, what is Shiva himself meditating on? He also keeps a mala. And he constantly chants the names Ram, Ram, Ram. He has so many realizations in the trance, in his samadhi, in the trance of devotion. He also keeps a damaru. Damaru drum is for his kirtan. And also from the vibration of this drum has come all the Tantra Shastra. So there's so many different books called Tantra that explain procedures and practices in spiritual life, different types of yoga, different types of meditation. And some of the Tantra Shastra, they are meant for human beings who are somewhat tamasic. They have tamasic habits, to elevate them to rajas. But you might have to put some parallels. Oops. So, some of those Tantra Shastras are for those who are rajasic, who are passionate, to elevate them to sattva. And some of those Tantra Shastras, they are for those who are situated in sattva already, to help them become nirgun, completely transcendental. So, I want to explain this evening about Lord Shiva in such a way that even a small baby could understand, provided they have about 30 years previous practice in yoga sadhana and a degree in Sanskrit. So, now, tonight's Shiva RATRI, I said something about Lord Shiva and his attire, his fashionable attire. I'd like to say something about this evening, Shiva RATRI. What does it really mean? So, it's stated in the Ramayana and also in the other Puranas, Bhagavad Puran, that once Lord Shiva and his consort, his Shakti, at that time, she has many names, at that time her name was Sati. So Shiva and his Shakti Sati, they went to the ashram of a great sage called Agastya Rishi, and they were listening to Agastya Rishi about the beautiful love of Sita Ram and the pastimes of Hanuman. And after hearing this, they were returning to their ashram and they were traveling through the forests. And just as they were walking through the forests, they came across Ramachandra, who was wandering there and searching for Sita Devi. So as you know, the beloved queen of Ram was kidnapped by Ravana. And at that time, Ram was searching here and there, crying, Ha Sita, weeping, his heart broken in separation from his beloved. He was in such a madness, he was asking the trees and flowers, have you seen my Sita? It was such a pathetic scene, even the animals began to weep, feeling the compassion. So when Shiva and Sati walked through the forest and they came across Ram, then Lord Shiva, from a distance, without interrupting the Leela, he bowed down and gave pranam to Lord Ram. At that time, Sati Devi said, "Oh my Swami, why are you giving pranam to this person who is suffering from attachment to a female? You are an enlightened person, you are a liberated person, and he's crying, heartbroken, in complete illusion of attachment to a female. Why are you bowing down to him?" Then Mahadev said, "Oh, don't you understand? He is Supreme Lord. He is one aspect of Bhagavan, and he's performing Leela. He's performing a play of love to attract the hearts of all living entities in the universe. This is no ordinary vision. If you don't believe me, you can test him." Then Shiva, he disappeared from that place. Then Sati, or Durga, she thought to herself, how can this person really be the Bhagavan, Supreme Lord? I'll test him. So then Sati Devi, she changed her form by her mystic power and took the form of Sita. So Ram was searching everywhere, looking, "Ha Sita, Sita, where are you?" And suddenly Durga came in front of Lord Ram, exactly resembling the form of Sita by her mystic power. And she expected him to say, "Oh, my beloved, I found you." But he looked at her and looked away and continued on his search. Again she came in front of him and he just looked straight through her and continued on his search. She said, "How strange." Again she came in front of him, and then Ram, he stopped crying. He said, "Sita, what are you doing here alone without Mahadev?" Okay? Sati here. "Sati, what are you doing here alone without Mahadev?" So then Sati, she was astonished. "Oh really? It's true. Because Durga, what does Durga mean? Durga is Mother Nature. She's the predominating goddess of this world. So Dur means difficult, and Ga means go. Durga, it's very difficult to go out of this material world. So she's the goddess of this world. She can put anyone into illusion, but not Bhagavan. And therefore she saw her illusory power had no effect. So then she realized, she folded her hands and she bowed down to Ram. Then when she looked up, she saw that Ram and Sita were everywhere, in every atom of the universe, playing happily together. And she was astonished. Again she bowed down, and then when she looked up, everything disappeared. And she saw Ramachandra wandering through the forest crying, "Oh Sita, Sita, where are you? Ha Sita, Ha Sita." What does it mean? It means Sita and Ram are always together. But when they manifest their play in this world, they perform this pastime of separation to give everyone the chance to become emotionally involved in devotion to them, in love for them. So then after this, Sati, she was satisfied with her realization, and she left and she went back to her ashram where Mahadev was waiting. So Mahadev, he sits, and on his left side he has an asana, and Sati Devi sits there. But when she arrived, the Mahadev had taken the seat and put it in front of him. Why? Because the wife sits there, but your mother sits there, not there. So because Mahadev sees Sita like a mother, and Sati had taken the form of Sita, so he said, "Oh, you want to play the role like Sita?" So he'd taken the asana, the seat of Durga, and put it in front of him. So she came there, and Mahadev said, "So, did you believe me?" She said, "Yes." He said, "Did you try to test him?" She said, "No, I believed you." So then Mahadev, he just got up and he disappeared. He was somewhere, invisible in the Himalayas. And now Sati, she was crying in separation. "Oh Mahadev, what have I done?" Lord Shiva is actually like our guru. He's our teacher. So, if someone will disbelieve the instruction of Guru, first she disbelieved. And then afterwards, she also told a lie. She said, "No, I didn't test him." She was somewhat embarrassed. So she wasn't straightforward. Because of this, Mahadev, Lord Shiva, was like a guru, he disappeared. So then, after some time, Sati Devi was invited to a yagya, a fire sacrifice, performed by her father, Daksha. So at the yagya, at the sacrifice of Daksha, thousands of people came. But Daksha, he didn't like Shiva. He was thinking, my son-in-law, he's a mad person. He runs around naked, dancing here and there, covered in ashes of dead people. He has so many associates, oral, Prem Prayojan, ghosts and witches. So he didn't respect Mahadev, and he sent out invitations to everyone to come to this sacrifice, except for two, Mahadev. So Sati came there, and she was very upset with her father. And during the sacrifice, she sat down in yogic meditation. And by her yoga siddhi, she manifested fire from inside, and her body burst into flames. And this is why it is said that entering into fire is called the Sati rite in India, because Sati Devi herself, feeling intense separation and love for Lord Shiva, she gave up her body by this power of mystic fire from within. However, in her next life, she took birth as the son of the Himalayan mountains. So the Himalaya is called Parvat. And as the daughter of the Himalaya, her name is Parvati. So in her previous life, her name was Sati. Now Durga became Parvati. And she wanted to do something to bring back her husband. So she thought, if I try to attract Lord Shiva to accept me again, I should worship Kamdev. You know Kamdev? That means Cupid, the god of love. So she began to worship Kamdev, Cupid. Oh Kamdev, please, you should go and shoot your arrows into the heart of Mahadev, that he'll accept me again. So Kamdev told him, yes, you should go, and when he's meditating, you should dance in front of him, and then if he looks at you, I'll get my bow and arrows and all the arrows, 5 arrows of Cupid. They're not sharp, they have flowers on the end. Mango flower, Malati flower, Madhavi, Mosri and Baku. Very soft fragrant flowers. When they go in the heart, very nice. But big problems come later. So, now Parvati, she came and she began to dance while Lord Shiva was doing meditation. And Cupid, Kamadev, came there with his bow and he was flying around looking for a chance. If Lord Shiva will be inattentive for a moment, if there's any gap, then he'll fire his arrows directly into his heart. So Mahadev, in his meditation, he knew that Kamadev was there. So he became angry, and from his third eye, fire came. A beam of fire came from the third eye of Lord Shiva and incinerated Kamadev, who was completely burnt to ash. This is why Kamadev is called Ananga. Anga means body. Ananga means having no body. You see? Have you ever seen Cupid? No, why? Because Lord Shiva burnt him to ash, he doesn't have a body. That's why you haven't seen him. But, even though you haven't seen him, you know he's around, right? You know he's around? Everyone feels his arrows. But Mahadev, he was so powerful, he could not be affected by Lord Shiva. So Parvati, she gave up and she went away and she did the pasa, austerity, and she worshipped Shiva. And after some time, when Mahadev, he became pleased with her, when he recognized her devotion and her sincerity, then once again he accepted her, and Shiva and Shakti were united. Shiva and Parvati were united. And that evening on which they were united, the evening on which Lord Shiva accepted Parvati as his beloved consort, as his wife, that evening is called SHIVA RATRI. So Shiva's very happy today. It's his wedding anniversary. So when someone's very happy, if you approach them, you ask them for anything, they're more likely to give. You know, if you ask someone for something when they're in a bad mood, then don't count on it. But Mahadev is very happy today. It's his anniversary. So we'll be doing the Abhishek all together. And we can ask for Mahadev some kind of benediction. But this is the significance of this day, SHIVA RATRI. Now, I want to say a few words about Shiva Tattva. Tattva. In Sanskrit, the word tat means that. And the suffix twa is like the suffix ness in English, you know, like we have hotness, happiness. So tattva means thatness. It is the tattva, the thatness of Lord Shiva. Who is he? What is he like? Oh, we have some books over here. You can take one if you like. It's called Shiva Tattva. Very beautiful. Many pastimes, beautiful things about Lord Shiva in this. You can read it when you get home. I want to say just a few words about the tattva, the thatness of Mahadev. So, usually, when you see a Shiva lingam, of course this lingam is a phallic symbol. It's the genital of Lord Shiva. And it's usually set in a base. And that is also the yoni. That means the genital of Parvati. So, when Bhagavan desires to create this material existence, he glances towards his material energy. And the halo, the aura, that is the divine radiance of his glance, is called Shambhu. And Shambhu unites sexually with Shakti. And from the union of Shiva and Shakti, then this entire universe is manifest, according to the Vedas. Shakti Parvati is like milk. You know, if you have milk, you add a little tamarind, it turns into yogurt. If you churn the yogurt, it turns into butter. If you clarify the butter, it turns into ghee. So there's one substance, and it develops in so many fractions. So in the same way, there's one substance, female Shakti, called Prakriti. And when this Prakriti is churned by the union with Lord Shiva, then this Prakriti becomes what? Ahankar, ego. And then after that it becomes Buddhi, intelligence. After that it becomes Manas, mind. Then it becomes sound, space, air, fire, water, and earth. In this way, all the elements of the material world, they are the fractions of Lord Shiva's Shakti that come about by the union of that Shakti with Lord Shiva. So, just as the entire universe comes about by the union of Shiva and Shakti, so similarly, our physical bodies, these bodies that we have, they're microcosms of the entire universe. So you can know all about the whole universe through meditation and discovering the nature of the various elements in your body. And when a person begins to worship Shiva and respect Shiva, what happens? Then the elements within this microcosm of the universe begin to reverse engineer themselves. And just as one element came from another to create the world, the elements within one's body begin to dissolve into one another. And therefore, when we honor Shiva, when we chant the name of Shiva, the mind dissolves into the intelligence. The intelligence dissolves into the ego. And the ego dissolves into Prakriti. And in this way, one has experience of liberation, mukti. A transcendental experience of being a person beyond this physical world. But the very last obstacle to be overcome is the identification with Mahadev himself. That is called, in the last stage of meditation, one may meditate, Shivoham, I am Shiva. But actually, this is only the appearance of Shiva within the consciousness of the jiva. When a living entity is averse to bhakti, is not absorbed in devotion, then Mahadev enters into the chitta, into the consciousness of the soul. And because Shiva is the enjoyer of Prakriti, when Shiva enters into our consciousness, then we have the consciousness, I am the enjoyer of Prakriti. That's why everyone in this world, whatever persuasion, whatever idea they have, whatever religion or political idea they follow, everyone feels that this world is for my enjoyment. The world is my oyster. It's my amusement park. And so the spirit of exploitation over the physical world is the very thing that binds us here. So what we're going to do now, we want to worship Lord Shiva. We'll have a kirtan, and in this kirtan, we will raise Lord Shiva and bring Lord Shiva to the bathing dais here. And what we really want to do is, we want that Lord Shiva, we don't want to take him really from there to here, but we want to request Lord Shiva as the original Ahankar, the original spirit of exploitation of the physical energy. I honor the devotion within you, Shiva. I want to be devoted like you. So I want to take you out from my consciousness that I will not identify as an enjoyer of your Shakti and manifest you before me so that I may honor you, that I may worship you, and that you may bless me with the power of bhakti that you have. For me, it may be that I do bhakti 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 5 hours, 10 hours of the day. But for you, bhakti, even one body is not enough. You want thousands of different bodies to render service. So please bless me with such intense enthusiasm. Free me from the ahankar, the original principle of ego, that I am this physical body, that I am the mind, I am intelligence, and the last ego of all, Shivoham, that I am you. Free me from this. And bless me with the realization that I am simply an insignificant servant of Supreme Lord, and bless me that I may follow your example of pure bhakti. So we'll have a kirtan now, and bring Mahadev over to the dais here, and there will be Abhishek bathing with yogurt, milk, ghee, honey, rose water, and so on. And then when our pujaris, our priest Govinda and Kailash Prabhu have completed the first Abhishek, then we invite everyone to come at the table over there. We'll have a purification ceremony. Each person can take bath in all the holy rivers by mantra, and then each person can come forward and make their personal offering of devotion to Lord Shiva on his wedding anniversary. Lord Shiva ki jai, Mahadeva Shambhu ki jai, Yogi Yogi Mahayogi Shiva Mahadeva ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Yeah, sure. Just do a Kirtan now, guys.
You want to say something? You want to say something?
Hare Krishna, thank you for coming out to our temple and being here for Abhishekam in honor of Lord Shiva. We just want to explain a little bit about some of the mantras that we're going to do. We're going to be doing the Purusha Shuddha. It comes from out of the Rig Veda. It's one of the last set of mantras in the Rig Veda. And Purusha means the supreme man or the supreme being. And Shuktam is just like a set of mantras taken from out of the four Vedas. So we're going to be intoning the Purusha Shuktam while we're doing this Abhishekam. And Abhishekam is a ritualistic bathing of the Murti. Whether, I don't know if some people here are new to the Sanatana Dharma, the Murti, it's not a statue, it's an embodied or enlivened form of God. After the Brahmanas, the pujaris, after we do certain rituals, certain mantras, certain hand gestures, things like that, God resides in this form. So, in the Vedic religion, we do these things what's called an abhishekam. We offer milk, we offer yogurt, we offer some ghee, we offer some other things as a form of devotion to God. And maybe through our devotion, Lord Shiva will accept this and ultimately Lord Krishna. So thank you very much. And after that, we're going to let everybody come bathe this Shiva Lingam with rose water. And thank you very much.
In the Indian culture, when some great personality is being crowned king, or they become an emperor, this is what they do. They do abhishek, which is a bathing ceremony with many ingredients. So essentially, what we do is we're recognizing and honoring Shiva and crowning him like a coronation of the position of a great teacher and example in our life.
So right now we're going to start, and we're going to Om